That's Sam, and I have Ethan with me. And we're going to take you through a little bit of Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin.
Let's go.
You know, right? Like, I'm actually pretty excited about this. You know, I'm a Monster Hunter fan myself, so again, super big honor because, you know, Capcom just recently announced that the demo is coming. So the demo is coming on June 25, which is just around the corner. And of course, the full game launches on July 9. So again, super big thanks to Capcom for making this all possible and giving me another Monster Hunter game to play. And yeah, again, for those folks that are also, you know, Monster Hunter fans like myself, stick around to the end because we are also going to talk about some cross-functionality between Monster Hunter Rise and this game. So with that being said, Sam, if you please.
You got it. Let's hop in here.
Let's get started.
So I've been having a ton of fun with this demo, and I'm really excited that we get a chance to show it off to y'all a little bit early before it launches. As we hop in here real quick, this is a great moment to take a look at my character. I did a bunch of customization before I started the demo, and I named my character after one of the biggest Monster Hunter fans I know. So Amber, if you're watching, I really hope we do you proud and you get a kick out of this.
Yay, Amber.
You can see from my save data, I've been in this demo for a few hours now, and I could actually easily spend another few hours. This is a really beefy demo experience.
Yep.
Good news, though, is if you try it and you like it, and I mean, it's going to be free in the Nintendo eShop, so why not give it a go and see if you like it? All of your progress will carry over to the final version of the game, so you don't have to worry about retreading any ground if you hop in and check it out. And right here, we have loaded into my house, so I'll just give a little bit of a look around here as we kind of set the stage for what we're going to be doing. This is a story-driven, turn-based RPG set in the Monster Hunter world. If you don't know anything about the Monster Hunter franchise, no worries, we'll be getting you up to speed. If you are familiar, I think you're really going to be interested in the connections that you maybe already know from the game. It really draws on a lot of the mechanics. It is the same world, you're going to see the same monsters, but a bit of a different take here. And as somebody myself who really loves RPGs and turn-based combat, this really suits my game style nicely.
You know, Sam, jumping in on that, I just want to also point out that I think this might be the first time we're doing live gameplay, right?
It is, yeah. This is world first live gameplay. Super exciting. So here, real quick, my house is where I can save the game. It's also where I can do some character customization. My little buddy over here, Navaroo, is a really unusual, very distinctive looking feline. He's a bit of a world traveler, but he and I crossed paths recently, and he's decided that he's going to hang out and help me on my adventure. So we will see lots more of him in a bit, but I really want to get out here.
I love how cozy it is, though, in your house. Like, I want to hang out in there very much.
I will say this game's art style really speaks to me. I think Capcom's done an amazing job of really making an immersive, beautiful world. And as somebody who hasn't had a chance to get out of the house much lately, it's really nice to have a chance to explore somewhere that's so beautiful and expansive. I can talk to people even though they're not real and have a big adventure, so I'm really appreciating this. So here, as we take a little bit of a look around my home village, if you think about Monster Hunter, just the name of the franchise, even if you've never played, you can probably guess that it's Monster Hunter. You normally have a pretty adversarial relationship to monsters, but that's not the case in this game. My character is part of a community that has figured out a way to really live in harmony with monsters.
Yep.
They are our friends who fight alongside us. Got a beautiful kind of housing setup for our monster friends over here. We even, actually, if I take a look over here, we just chill on the beach with them. And I love this little duo. They're just kind of chilling, living their best life here. and my home is honestly kind of paradise. I won't talk too much about all the different facilities that are available in my village. Normally, it's a peaceful, wonderful place, but recently things have gone a little sideways. I am a novice monster rider. I'm just kind of learning the ropes. My teacher over here, Kana, has been teaching me what it means to be a monster rider.
Kana, what's up?
She is amazing, and she's a very good teacher, but right now she's also dealing with the fact that there are a lot of really unusual occurrences taking place in the island. We'll talk about the story in a bit more detail, but what you need to know right now is monsters are acting very strangely, very aggressively. There's a lot of unusual activity going on around the island. So on top of teaching me how to be a monster rider, she's also teaching me how to handle crisis management as we try to figure out what happened to our island. Because we've had a lot of weird natural phenomenon and things just kind of going sideways on us.
Yeah.
So recently we found out that there is a poisonous monster that's causing a lot of problems in another part of the island. So I recently got back from a mission and I've been getting ready to head out to try to track down that poisonous beastie. I hit the quest board over here, turned in a bunch of quests, which gave me a lot of XP for my party, Zenny, which is the in-game currency, and a bunch of items. I then turned around and used some of that in-game currency, the Zenny, to pick up some antidotes from a local merchant. Seemed like a good idea since we're going to be dealing with a poison monster. Grabbed some more quests as well, so the quest board's a great central place to get those, but I can also get quests from NPCs around the world. I used some more of that Zenny I picked up to buy some other items that maybe I'll have a chance to show off here. I also did some crafting. So I used monster parts and materials that I've found around the island and from my battles to craft this amazing new sword with the help of the smithy in town. It's called the Chicken Decapitator. I got to assume that we got
Look at that.
we got big chickens.
Is it really?
It
Chicken
is.
Decapitator?
It's so cool. Though. I mean, look at it. I just made it and I haven't had a chance to try it out yet. I also used some ore to upgrade my hammer, so my gear's about ready. There's one last thing I have to do. So under normal circumstances, and sorry, just a moment to appreciate this little feline in all of his majesty. I would normally hatch eggs before I turn in quests because I want the monsters that I've hatched to enjoy the bonus of all that XP. But I kind of reversed the order here from what I'd normally do so that I could show y'all a hatching before we head out into the field. And just look at this little dude.
Bulldrome.
This little bulldrome. And he actually, I think, got an attack bonus there as well. So he is a new monster to add to my party. I'll just leave his name as is. And for any RPG, party mechanics and party strategy are key, and here it's no different. But the pretty awesome thing here is that most of my party members are actually monsters. So here, I'm actually going to change my lead monster over to the new Bulldrome so that we can see what he's like in the field. And he's hopefully going to have some fun out here with me as we get rolling. As we head out of the village, you'll notice that I get the option of choosing to head out in the afternoon or the evening. So for the sake of this segment, we're going to stick with afternoon departure times, but I do encourage folks who are watching, when you're playing this yourself, mix it up a bit. Check things out in the field, in the afternoon, and in the evening. As we mentioned, crafting and finding those key materials is so important to the Monster Hunter experience, and things are going to be a little different at night, so you want to mix it up a little bit. And before we get rolling here, I'll just take a little bit of a scan around so you can see the environment. There are a lot of different spots here in my island home that I've already visited over the course of the demo. Some other places that I haven't quite been yet. Here behind me, you can see Navarro is on the back of the Bulldrome I just hatched. And there's Kana and her monster companion as well. And we'll do a little bit of exploring here. So when it comes to collecting materials, some like this over here, pretty easy to spot, not a problem to grab that. Other materials are going to be a lot harder to find, especially when you're thinking about insects, some of the really small collectibles. You're just really going to want to dig into these environments to find all the goodies so that you can craft to your heart's content. And while you're doing that, you want to be careful of the monsters.
I just wanted to say, like, we've gotten a chance to see you run around out here before, and I love how alive the environment is, and your point about, spotting those items you can pick up. There's like so much detail to spot, and it really rewards you if you're that person that loves exploring every nook and cranny, of these, big open spaces.
And to jump on that point, I was thinking about, coming from the Monster Hunter Rise side, I'm a fan, right? So I think regardless if you are a Monster Hunter fan existing, like a current one that's just really into Monster Hunter, or if you're not into Monster Hunter at all and you're interested to get into the series, I think this is actually a really good game for you to pick up and just to understand the world.
Yep.
Even the cycle of going out, finding stuff, and then like coming back and then crafting, all of those things, that whole cycle still applies in Monster Hunter. So again, great first point of entry into the series.
Ooh, and I wasn't going to talk about these just yet, but we kind of lucked out here. If you see that gold pile of rocks up ahead, that is a rare monster den, and it is going to kill me that I can't go in here right now because it's not on the plan for our segment.
We know about your completionist tendency.
Okay, so I can talk about it at least. So monster dens are a really fantastic place to go if you want to fight new monsters, hopefully find some eggs and build out your party. Some of the dens are persistent on the map. Others are either rare, like this beautiful gold one that's taunting me over here, or they only appear under very specific circumstances. So normally when you play, hit those up every time you see them, because that is the best way to level up your party and also build up your party with new monsters.
You sure we can't just take a peek in there?
I want to, but I feel like I'll run out of time if I do.
Yeah.
Also over here, just to take a look out, and we noticed this earlier, monsters appear in the field, so I can choose whether or not to interact with them, whether or not to engage with battle. Again, if I was just playing this normally, I would be running up to every single one of these monsters, getting into fights. But I have a lot to cover here, so I'm not going to do that this time.
I know it
some
hurts
of the
a little bit for you, Sam. I know how you play games.
Some of the guys up there were herbivores, so they pretty much leave me alone. But these guys are a little bit more complicated. They're hostile. They're going to come at me. So I'm actually going to use Bulldrum's dash move and see if I can time this right to sneak by them.
You've got this.
That guy's crossing my path. I want them all kind of clustered up. So this is one of the interesting things about... Let's do it.
You got it.
Oh.
Yes. Come on, Bulldrum.
Go, Bulldrum.
Sneaking through.
There we go.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
He's not easy to turn. He just kind of goes. So, ooh, keep going, buddy. Keep going. All right. I think we're good. I'm just going to. There we go. Okay. Straight away here. We absolutely want to think about. Oh, okay, there we go. We want to think about party strategy when it comes to monsters in battle, and we'll get into that in a bit. But these traversal skills are also really important, especially this early in the game. I've noticed a lot of places that I can't get to quite yet. Maybe I'd need to swim or I'd need to climb, but I don't have a monster that can do that.
Yeah.
So I want to think about which monsters have the skills that I want to use to navigate the environment, and then also who I want to have in battle.
Yeah, I love that both sides of things. Like, you definitely, I mean, battles are a big thing, obviously, as we're going to see, but I love that you're also considering what type of environment am I in, what particular abilities does, each monstie have,
Vines.
and building that up.
And actually, that's one reason that I swapped back over to Ranmar here. So Bulldrum was great with that dash ability for getting by those monsters, but he's still a level 1. He doesn't have much experience under his belt. Ranmar is really nicely leveled, so as we get into a fight here, I want him in the lead.
Oh boy.
He'll be the first monster into battle.
Here we go.
Start talking about some battle strategy. Oh, nice. Okay, so we snuck up on him. So to start it off here, I'm going to keep it with really basic attacks so we can just walk through some of the really ground level mechanics before we go further. The first important thing to know about this game is I really only have control over myself. I don't pick the actions for my full party. If you take a look at the lower edge of the screen there, I can see what each of my teammates is going to do. If I get a high enough kinship bonus going with my monster, I could maybe tell the monster what to do, but beyond that, really, I'm paying attention to what my teammates are doing so I can strategize around them. And the next really key element to combat is this kind of rock, paper, scissors mechanic. And you can see an indicator on the left side of the screen that is a helpful reminder there. So essentially, power beats technical, technical beats speed, speed beats power.
I love that icon triangle because I would totally forget that. So nice that it's color-coded.
Yeah.
It's a handy reminder, and for me, it's actually my attack option because I can do all 3 kinds of attacks. And I'm going to focus the Kuliyaku because he'll be nice and burly and a good practice monster. I know he is generally speaking a technical type, so I'm going with a nice simple power attack with my sword. So when it comes to monsters and their attack types, different monsters have kind of a predisposition toward certain types. So Kuliyaku tends to throw out technical attacks, Ranmar tends to throw out speed attacks, but I can't necessarily guarantee that. So I have to allow for a little bit of uncertainty here, plan a team that's going to have some good flexibility, and also just pay attention to what's going on. This is not a game where I can just button mash my way through.
Right.
And here you see there's some bright lines connecting me to the 2 monsters. That means that both of them have decided to target me for their next attack. And another interesting place where the rock, paper, scissors mechanic goes in is if I choose to attack Kuliyaku and I have the power advantage over what's hopefully a technical attack that Kuliyaku throws out, I'm going to do more damage. Okay, I'm good. It did throw a technical out.
Nice.
There you can see my power attack beat the technical. So I did a nice chunk of damage. My kinship meter, which is the little blue circle between me and my monster, got filled up. You really want to do your best to optimize those opportunities. Pay attention to the move types. Also pay attention to how monsters change up their move types. And that's something that you definitely see in any Monster Hunter game. You can't just assume what's going to happen with a monster. And here, Kuliyaku picked up a rock. So
And JC, like I know when we've seen Sam do some battling before, and I love those things you called out that were like, oh yeah, I've seen this. Like, this is familiar to me, right? From being an experienced Monster Hunter player.
So funny. It's actually the first thing I was like, oh, he picked up a rock. I'm like, that's right. He also picks up a rock in Monster Hunter Rise. And if you see a rock, you want to do like a blunt, like attack to the front, or you just want to like, see, like it's all there. All of this knowledge is all the same. So again, a great way to prep folks. So again, if you're a Monster Hunter fan like me, you'll recognize a lot of the things they pulled, like really clever details like that. Like breaking parts, and you seen the monster get knocked over, and you're like, this is like everyone kind of is super excited when they see a monster get knocked over, because like this is the time for you to do damage.
And that was interesting, actually. I was going to smash the rock with a hammer, but Ranmar actually did the job for me. I think it was Ranmar or Avmar. They did an attack and knocked the monster prone, so they broke the rock part, so now that rock is not a problem.
Ranmar gonna Ranmar.
Prone. He's doing work, man. Now I can attack the monster. They're downed, so all of my attacks are going to be crits. But if I take a look at the icons that are above the monster there's a line, a little red dash through the bludgeoning damage type. So my hammer's not a good choice, and I'm going to swap back to my sword because I was having good luck with slashing
Chicken Decapitator?
damage. Yes. I mean, look at this thing.
Ever.
It's awesome. It's huge. And it's flashy. It's stylish. I'm a fan. And for anybody who's played Monster Hunter, it's all about getting the gear, collecting parts from monsters so you can craft this really awesome stuff.
Yeah.
It looks cool as well as being functional.
Yeah, I love the way it changes your look, and you get this whole different vibe on your character based on the gear they have equipped.
So here we're getting loads of experience, which is great for Bulldrome because he's a kiddo. He's got to grow up. Got some collectibles and monster parts, and a really important thing to pay attention to
nice
is...
A rank.
Oh, thank you. I could get S if I did a little better, but talking and playing is kind of weird.
It's tough.
Really, the goal there is to really optimize my battle strategy. So again, you don't want to button mash through these battles. You want to think strategically, make smart choices, make the best use of your party you can. The more effectively you do in a battle, the more bonus points you're going to get. Try to get up to rank S. That's going to improve the rewards coming out of battle. And if you really want to bump up your party, thinking strategically and getting those S ranks is the best way to go.
Yup.
And now that we're back, let's see here. Let's head this way. Yeah. You can actually see down here at the bottom, I've got my map indicator. That little dotted line is indicating where I've been, and it is super helpful. I will say, for the sake of this demo, I'm beelining it through spaces that I would normally spend a lot more time exploring. I'm missing a lot of the cool details because I want to make sure we get to all of our content. They're coming for me. Wait, no. I can't afford to fight right now. You guys calm down. We're gonna try to be sneaky here.
They were just excited to see a fellow Ranmar.
I know. Hi. What's up?
So happy.
All right. Oh, screw it. We'll just see how this goes. Come on, buddy.
Sam, jump, dangerously.
Go.
Amazing.
Okay, there we go.
The jumps, the dodges.
We're good. Sorry. What I was saying there was the dotted line of the map is really helpful because right now I'm beelining it and I'm missing a lot of stuff that I want people to take the time to discover for themselves in these areas. But with all the backtracking you can do in here to find materials and find all the monsters that are looking in these spaces, you can get a little lost. Having that dotted line to tell you, okay, here's where you were, let's try to backtrack is super helpful. And I'm going to try to miss this young cuckoo. Sorry, dude. I wish I could fight you and take your parts, but we got places to be. So you may live.
Yeah, this, the map is big. Getting my hands on it a little bit, I totally realized, like, this is a beefy demo. Just as one little section, there's a lot in here. It's just a lot.
Okay, so we found a monster den. We're going to do some investigating here, see if maybe we can get a bead on that poisonous monster that's hanging around this area. So let's see what we got here.
I smell something.
So I will mention here, I set the VO to English just in case anybody's watching today who can't quite pay full attention to the screen, but you can swap over to the Japanese VO. So if you prefer to listen to Japanese voice acting, go right ahead. You have your choice of how you want to set that. And I think we maybe found our poison problem.
It's so cute.
Isn't this one of your favorite monsters?
Yeah, it's a Puke Puke. So this monster's called a Puke Puke. It lashes out with its tongue to do some attacks. It has some poison to it,
Creepy.
it's like so ugly it can't help it, so it's cute.
I'm actually working on a new dance called "Do the Puke Puke." But
Oh, are you?
I'm not going to reveal it here.
Oh man, if we had time at the end of the segment, could be
Only
another
that,
world
Ethan,
debut.
What have I done?
So I kind of took a little bit of a hint there from what Navaroo and Kano were saying before we entered in the battle. They mentioned that these guys are kind of tricky, so I'm hoping that means technically inclined, and looks like it. They're generally throwing out technical attacks here. So, there.
Double attack.
Both Renmar and I threw out a technical attack, a power attack against the technical at the same time. We had the advantage, so we did a double attack. But what I'm actually going to do here is swap over to Bulldrome. Because even though Renmar is a higher level and generally speaking does really well in combat, my Bulldrome is inclined toward power attacks, which against a technical monster is going to be a little safer. So, going to see how he does out here. He's got some levels now, so hopefully he'll be okay. And Kana using a special attack. She's got the Sword and Shield combo, which is another slashing damage type. And what is
it's eating.
he doing?
Yeah, it's eating. Usually that kind of heals a little bit, or it does, or just kind of chills for a bit. Doesn't.
Did its face just turn a different color?
Yeah.
It's about to use poison apparently, so
Yeah.
that's a thing. I'm actually going to make a strategic adjustment here. Oh, I don't know if I have enough skill energy for it, though. Oh no, this is going to be bad. So my bow here, and yeah, I'm out of luck this turn. If I had enough kinship gauge, I would want to use this absolute evasion move, which I think might help me avoid the poison.
Okay.
I
no.
don't have enough energy, so I'm just going to go with an attack, see how piercing damage works against this monster.
All right.
And keep my fingers crossed that I'll build up that charge for later.
Okay.
It's funny, Ethan, you pointed out kind of like the face, turning
Yeah.
red and kind of looking at the monster.
It was like a
Actually-
subtle change, but
Yeah, it's actually one of the things that I kind of like is, studying the monster, kind of knowing and recognizing, because right now, if you take a look at the top, it has like question marks and like you can't really tell.
Oh.
That is
boy, here
so
we go.
gross. I
That's
love
really
it.
gross. Ow! What? Man.
Oh, man. Yeah,
Okay.
that hit pretty hard.
That,
And look, it's
that
back to
art,
green.
the bow move would have been really good there.
I know, right?
and now it's kind of back to normal looking.
Yeah, it's back to normal. So kind of studying the monster, taking a look at the way it feels when it's about to do something big or when it's tired, all those visual things will
Yeah.
change. So again,
Yep.
things you learn either in Rise or here too. They're
Yeah.
both applicable.
And
so.
and that's something like I've heard a ton about. I'm somebody who has observed the Monster Hunter series on like from the sidelines, but I've heard tons of people talk about it, like you, other folks I know, and it's all about like you said, studying the monsters. And I love that, we're in a different series here, but that those things still apply. This is the time I've gotten to spend with this and see is like definitely making me think this is the
buddy.
title I'm going to dive in on. Oh no!
Right.
Oh,
This
so
is,
there I
again-
lost a heart. I do not want to lose all my hearts, so let's
It's
see
okay.
how this goes. Okay.
You can do it, Sam. I believe in you.
Yeah, you got
Oh, thank you.
You have a chicken decapitator.
I do. Why am I doubting myself? It's shameful. Okay, here I can choose parts. I want that tail gone, so I'm going to focus
Okay.
my attacks on the tail. Right here, Kana actually hopped onto the back of her monster. That was because her kinship gauge was full. So she had that full blue sphere. She's
Oh,
able to
man.
hop on her monster's back, do this amazing kinship skill, after which she's going to hop back off the monster. There's some other really great benefits
Yeah.
to letting that skill charge fill up all the way. As soon as she hopped onto her monster's back, she went back to full health. Her monster got a health boost, and they had some other advantages that they could have enjoyed there as well. We're looking pretty good, so I'm just
I
gonna
love
keep attacking.
too. You get like for using those skills, you get these cool cinematic visuals that come in that just keep these battles so dynamic. I love turn-based RPGs, but sometimes they're a little static in terms of what you're doing and seeing during a battle. I just love all the different moves you're breaking out, and you get rewarded with these really cool scenes like that.
And speaking of, I could use my ride right now, which would refill my health and give us the ability to do that cool ride move of our own. Since Kana's going to be waiting a while to do that again, I'm just going to use it now. I'm not going to wait too long. If she was close to the same level of kinship gauge that I'm at, I would probably wait for her to catch up, but let's see how we go here. And if we both do it at the same time, there's actually a really awesome animation, so I'm hoping we work out the timing here somewhere. Go, Mr. Pig! Yes!
Oh,
Heartbroken.
very nice.
All
Nice.
right. So hopefully that tail means no more nasty, massive swinging attacks and poison all over the place.
Yeah, it should not after that.
All right, let's go back to some regular attacks here. So we can see here the piercing indicator was crossed out with a red line. So beyond that skill that I'd like to be able to use, using my bow is not going to be super effective in this fight. The piercing type damage is really interesting, though. It's a new addition to the game. So we've got bows and we've also got gun lances, which we didn't have in the 3DS game that came out a few years ago. Oh, and again, can't lose attention. Gotta cheer on my bull drum. Go, buddy. There we go.
Nicely done.
So we've got the piercing damage with the bows and the gun lances. We've got, what do I want to focus on? Head. Well, the body's almost out. Let's do that.
Hoi.
So that was a draw.
Slashing damage with the kind of sword and shield combo that Kana has and my big sword that I'm using. And then there's also the bashing type, which is the hammer.
Yeah.
And
now,
horn.
I see its face is red again.
Let's see here.
I think it's angry. It might be angry.
Healing. Let's fix you up, buddy.
Just maybe.
So here as well, I can tell what my teammates are doing. So Kana, the indicator says she's going to use a potion. And if I take a look at Avmar here, his health bar, I can tell that's where the potion's going to go. Avmar is going to get the heal, so I'm going to get rid of that poison on Buldrum.
Very nice.
And I will offer here, as we're going through all these mechanics and layering it up, if you're somebody who's just like hungry for battle mechanics and you love the complexity, you've played Monster Hunter maybe, this is probably all going to seem very familiar to you. But if you're a player who's maybe newer to the genre and this maybe feels a little intimidating, please don't worry about it. We are a fair way into the demo. But
yeah, that's a good
they do
point.
a good job with the tutorial as you first start. So you're going to get those layers. You're going to get taught how to do all these things and how to build on the concept. So it's a fun experience no matter where your experience level's at.
So I have two daughters, and we've dabbled a little bit in turn-based RPGs. Oh dear, you're losing hearts.
Bad news.
No.
Get up, get up. But I was just gonna say, like, for me, a veteran turn-based RPG player, I love the complexity and depth that we get here. But I'm also thinking that I'm, planning on showing this game to my daughters as an entry into the Monster Hunter series. I love that you can make friends with monsters, and there's not as much of an adversarial relationship. So we're gonna play this one together for sure.
All right, so there we go,
epic.
doubled up. I really hope this Puke is close to being done. You'll notice the health bar actually just has question marks next to it. Some of these big boss type monsters, even if I've run into a monster before, I can't assume that they're all kind of a comparable level of strength. This guy, as JC mentioned in true Monster Hunter fashion, I hope this helps.
Oh,
wow.
All right, there we go. I don't know how much damage I've done, so I really have to rely on those tells as I look at the monster and watch its behavior. Kind of keep my fingers crossed and just do the best I can with my strategy and hope I make it.
And that's because you haven't fought this type of Puke before? Is that it, or?
Well, I haven't fought a Puke in this demo yet, but this guy's also a tough guy.
Right.
He's a bit of a beast, and he's looking a little rough for wear.
Yeah, he's
tired now.
drool. That's it. That's your clue. He's close.
Okay, come on, Kina.
It's close. Oh, that's a good look.
Okay.
It's tired.
We're gonna ride. No holding back. Just need to take this guy down.
Yes.
Oh, come on, buddy.
Nice critical.
You're still up. Oh my gosh.
How are you standing?
Dude. This guy's a beast.
Wow.
He's doing the Puke.
Is that the dance? So first you drool.
So-
You wag your head from side to side.
Here you can tell as well, I used up all my skill points on that ride, so I have to wait for it to recharge, and it looks like he's gonna start doing some poison action again.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
Done.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Wow.
a good feeling.
My partner. Come on.
My goodness.
Yeah,
I saw
All right.
the puns. The puns are
there's a
pretty
lot
good.
of puns.
Yeah.
There's a lot of puns.
Oh,
S-rank.
S-rank.
Nice.
Let's go, Sam.
S-rank
Wow.
for Sam.
S for Sam. Yes.
well, all right then. So we've dealt with the Puke. I'm ready to go home after this, but
Yeah.
I want to take one little look at this nest before I make my retreat, because
Because you're basically here
lucky.
on a mission,
Yeah.
on a quest, right?
Maybe I can get an egg out of this. Oh, perfect. So we've got some eggs in the nest, and this is really how I'm collecting new members of my party. By Navru's estimation, the best eggs are stinky and heavy. But I like the look of this one, and it also looks like critters ran off with the rest while the nest was unguarded. So I'm just gonna consider myself lucky and get my butt out of here before something else shows up. My hands are full, so I can't really do much else.
Yeah.
I'm ready to leave.
That's so nice. Selecting leave the monster den. Don't worry, you know where I was going with that, Monster Hunter fans. You don't have to carry it all the way back.
And instead of riding all the way back, I'm actually going to use a quick travel tool here to get myself back to the village. If you're familiar with felines from the Monster Hunter series, you know, in addition to being adorable, they offer a lot of fantastic services, like a transport service, which is not the most comfortable ride, but it gets you where you need to be.
Hopefully your egg is okay.
Yeah.
I hope so, man.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Up here in the upper right, I can see that my next task is to check in with my chief. So I'm going to report in, let him know what we've been seeing here before we move on. And I'm going to kind of bomb through the dialogue here just because I want to make sure we get to all the content we've got. But the story in this game is really fantastic. It's really worth getting into and soaking it in.
Yeah. Because you were saying, I mean, these are not monster hunters. They are monster riders, which was like a distinction that I wasn't fully aware of before we started looking into this game. So
I love it because I was always the kid who loved stories where you were friends with monsters and riding monsters and all that stuff. So this is really right up my alley. So there we found out that the chief is going to let me enter Guardian Ratha Woods and check out Guardian Ratha's den to see if we can figure out what's going on. A really key point here is my island has long been protected by this incredibly powerful Rathalos named Guardian Ratha. Some other interesting story connections that we'll talk about in a minute, but long story short, this Rathalos keeps all the other monsters in line. So if something happened to Guardian Ratha, that might explain why all these weird occurrences are taking place. Normally, we leave Guardian Ratha alone at his place. We wouldn't go traipsing around his camp, but we're going to go check it out. And they're actually, this is one of the visiting monster hunters. So right about the time everything went sideways, monster hunters were visiting. They kind of have some different opinions than we do about what was happening. From our perspective, maybe we need to find Guardian Ratha and work things out to get things back to normal. From their perspective, maybe it's kind of crazy to have a giant scary Rathalos as your guardian, but, agree to disagree. That's okay. Now here, since I downed that Puke Puke, I want to fix up my gear. The chief suggested that maybe I could be heading into some trouble here. To take a quick look at weapons, this is a variety of the weapons that I could be crafting. And to look at the types here, so we've got the sword and shields, the great swords, the hammers, hunting horns, and then the bows and the gun lances at the end here as well. But I've actually been wearing the same armor for a while, so I'm going to see if I can get something new.
Look how many armors.
I
know.
Look at the
that looks
so nice.
Awesome, and the defense is way better, so I'm going to make that. So here you can tell one of the possible components I haven't found yet, but I need to figure out what I want to spend to make up the points. That tail is worth 10 points. I only need 4 to make this material into armor. Any extra points get lost, so I definitely want to hang on to that tail for something big and special, but I can make enough up with the scales.
And this is something that's probably like the way that your look and weapon, all that cool stuff changes is probably familiar to Monster Hunter fans, but to me, coming at this from like an RPG fan, sometimes you get like a bit of clothing or your weapon look will change, but I love that you get both, and there's so many ways to change up the way you look.
And you gotta appreciate how that sword, the color scheme is just bam.
Yeah, and also with depending on the monster that you hunt, they also have different qualities. So the Puke obviously has a little bit of poison. So if you wear armor, you'll be a little bit of poison resistance. But if you have like a weapon and you craft that out of their, Puke parts, then that weapon will naturally have that.
Nice.
And every monster has its own strength and weakness. So you also want to go around and basically hunt to your content and kind of get those materials to craft as much stuff as possible. So you can really play into that strategy of crafting your best loadout.
I will say it's hard when you take down a monster that's maybe harder to find. You've got those parts. You have to make a hard decision about what you're going to make.
Oh, right.
Like, am I going to find another Puke Puke soon, or do I have to hang on to those parts and make the best I can and do I want a weapon? Do I want the armor?
Yeah, it's a tough call. But it also is like you can kind of decide how you want to play based on that. Like, are you a more attack-based, more aggressive player, or do you want to shore up all your defenses, and make sure you have that taken care of first? So I love that kind of freedom of how you play.
And you got to be stylish.
Oh yeah, that's always
Yeah, I think style might be
main
I don't.
consideration.
I'm sure that's how you play RPGs, right, Ethan? It's like you like this looks the coolest. It may have the least amount of like actual clothing, but it's probably the strongest thing. Right? I mean, that happens so often.
Weird inverse game logic. Here we go. So we are at Guardian Ratha Woods. This is where Ratha's den is. So we're going to do some exploring here and see if we can figure out what's going on with Guardian Ratha. So one of the things that I love about this game is you can enjoy it completely independently.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've never played a Monster Hunter game, if you didn't play the Monster Hunter Stories game on 3DS, it's okay. You can jump in and really enjoy the story as is. But if you've got those connections to the Monster Hunter franchise, especially here in this case, if you've played the original Monster Hunter Stories on 3DS, you'll pick up some interesting connections. So my character here is actually the grandchild of the protagonist from the Nintendo 3DS game. So my grandfather had some incredible adventures, ended up settling down here, and the adorable little Rathalos that he hatched at the beginning of that game grew up to be Guardian Ratha. So ended up being an incredibly powerful monster. My grandfather has since passed away, but a lot of folks in the world still remember him. He was a very highly regarded monster rider, and there are other folks in the world who still remember him. So you're going to be seeing some maybe familiar characters and really building on the legacy of that character if you enjoyed that game. And again, not how I would normally play, but I got places to be, so I'm going to miss all the collectibles.
I know, all these little side paths and stuff we have to skip.
We're going to try to avoid fights as much as possible.
The size of these areas
kind of
is
beeline here.
really surprising.
And this is just, remember, like this is what, only the first or second area that like we have, and this is all in the demo. And again, I will say, pick up the demo.
Yeah.
The demo's so big.
No, I mean on the start screen, you'd played more than 10 hours so far into this, so that's.
It's very relaxing too. I love just honestly riding around and enjoying the atmosphere. It's so beautiful, and there's just so much to dig into here. Let's see, that's a little bit of a dead end. Let's try up this way. So for you guys, I'd love to come back to the conversation about your kind of levels of familiarity with the franchise and what that does.
Yeah.
Like, JC, I know you have gone deep into Monster Hunter Rise. I don't know what your hour count is right now, but you're coming at this as somebody who spent a lot of time hunting monsters.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I was introduced to the Monster Hunter franchise by a friend here actually at Nintendo. And we just started hunting together. She's like, try this, you'll like it. So, we started playing, and one thing led to another. Next thing you know, I was just hooked because I love helping other people, and all you do is just help other people, and it's so wholesome and it's fun. But yeah, over time you start to learn all these little details about the monsters, and you get to know their names and all of that. So it's really refreshing to see so many little call-outs, the A buttons, the sound effects.
Yeah.
Everything kind of lines up in this Monster Hunter universe that makes this a perfect complement to, Monster Hunter players. No, go ahead.
I love Sam in the background.
Hey, do what you got to do. You're doing great. But yeah, so again, really, really interesting. And I'll admit, I'm really, really interested in playing the full game because I think playing the demo absolutely sold me on what this game offers, and I definitely could use a good RPG right about now.
Yeah, and from my perspective, like, I love RPGs, grew up on RPGs, and have always been a little bit like, do I have the time to dive into Monster Hunter? Like, I hear people talk about it, and their passion is immediately, like, you can totally tell how much they love it. But it's always seemed a little intimidating. But I actually have to stop and check out this. Where are we now?
We are in a little feline burrow. Sorry, I saw the icon on the map, but I couldn't resist. So this is a catavanner. He's one of the little felines who runs the quick travel service that I used earlier. So he's got to stop here. I'm not going to travel, but good to know that he's here. I've also got
that face on
a little healer here. The Sapotted feline, if I needed healing, she would help me out, and she is also just,
Come on.
I mean, look at how cute. I'm healed up right now, but I just want to say hi.
Wow.
There's also a chest here. I am not going to steal from these adorable little cuties. I will leave it up to everybody's own moral
But
compass.
you could though.
What you could.
Okay.
But would you want to? Look how
Yeah.
cute they are.
No, I'm just gonna finish what I was saying before, which was
Gotta
take a break for the felines, but
good.
was just that like I have always been like I know that Monster Hunter gameplay is very real time and very action based in the the main series. And what I love about this is as an RPG fan, I have the time to pick my strategies and take kind of things one step at a time in a turn-based environment. While I'm still getting all that full Monster Hunter flavor, that is present in the rest of the series. So yeah, again, like this may be the one that convinces me to dive in on other titles too. Like I'm
There we go.
thinking about checking out Rise just because of the time I've spent with this demo. So
And a lot of the knowledge, again, everything you've seen here, it'll definitely
There we
help
go.
you even. I guarantee it.
we should hunt together sometime.
I would love that. Love that.
And this game actually has co-op as well, so you guys can party up in Rise and party up here.
Oh, nice.
These are sacred grounds.
So I won't say too much during this cutscene, but one thing I will mention, if you're interested in the look and you're interested in the game,
So
check
pretty.
out the trailers that have been released so far. We had some content in the Nintendo Direct that just showed as well, so you can get a look at some of the later game content.
Guardian Ratha would never let
It's really
anyone else
beautiful.
ride him. I'm sure he's waiting for Red to come home. That's what Chief Gara always said.
But this red guy's not around anymore, right? So why?
The truth is, once a monster forms a bond with a rider, it never forgets them. Remember that strange light when Guardian Ratha left? Something must have happened then. Otherwise, Guardian Ratha would never have abandoned the island. Okay, let's take a look around.
Yeah, leave it to me. My nose knows there's something here.
And if you've watched any of the trailer content, we're going to see a character here that is probably going to look familiar.
Is it? Red!
Oh, hi.
I can't believe my eyes.
Who are you?
I'm sorry to say, but this isn't Red.
Of course. There's no way it could be. It's just those eyes look like Red's.
Red was one of our leaders. This is his grandkid.
Huh?
Red passed away a long time ago.
I know. It's just I actually came to see Guardian Ratha. Red gave me something to bring back here.
Something from Red?
Whoa! Whoa! What was that?
Whoa! Something's coming! Over there!
Suddenly regretting missing all those fights I could have earned some experience in.
An Anjanath? And Guardian Ratha's dead? Well, why is it acting so weird? What's going on?
This looks awfully bad, buddy.
Please, take this. It's Red's old kinship stone. You might be able to use it to calm that monster down.
Red's kinship stone. How come you have it?
Red, he wanted you to have it. Take it.
You ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it. Ride on.
Oh boy.
So this is the next fight in the demo. I thankfully will not need to embarrass myself here, I don't think, because we are close to running out of time, so I can just kind of pop through a round or two here. But JC, since we're almost done, we could probably circle back to the news that we've got to share about the cross-compatibility, eh?
Yes, I'm a little bit, I'm sure a little video will play, and we'll start kind of talking about some Amiibo. So generally speaking, if you have Amiibo from, let's see, from Monster Hunter Rise, and you kind of tap them into this game, I'll kind of wait for the show up. Yeah, something like that.
We got a video.
Okay, maybe I should wait for the video. Should I wait?
That's all right. I mean, while we're waiting.
Okay. While we're waiting, I'll go
just a re-hit here. So the demo is going to come out on the 25th, so
Yep.
very, very soon. The game is going to launch on the 9th, so please do check it out. I've been having a blast. This is a really, really fun demo, and I think you're going to get a kick out of it. Oh, and it looks like the
there
video is
it
up.
is.
Let's go.
Yeah, so if you have some of the Amiibo from Monster Hunter Rise, and you
I
tap
do.
them into Monster Hunter Stories 2,
do have them.
You get some stickers. And those stickers will look real familiar to you, and they'll be happy here. And the inverse is true. So if you tap into Monster Hunter Stories 2 Amiibo into Monster Hunter Rise, you get stickers in that game. So yeah, it's definitely something to look forward to, because I know I definitely will do the same. As well as another little point I want to make, which is if you have save data for this particular demo on your system, and you fire up Monster Hunter Rise, and it doesn't matter which order it comes in, and you talk to Senri the mailman in Monster Hunter Rise, he'll give you a talisman. And that talisman, kinship talisman, thank you very much. It basically, it also has 2 skills. The first one's like Master Mounter, which kind of helps you like do your dodge counters a bit easier, helps fill that gauge a bit faster if you're riding gauge. And also wide range, which I use a lot, which is basically, you have a lot of items, you use some helpful stuff, and then it shares that effect with the rest of your teammates. So really cool, and it's free. I think Sam already hit on the date, but just to remind you again, free demo, lots of good stuff happening on June 25th. Full game releases on July 9, so we're just around.
Yeah,
the
that's
corner.
coming up. Good summertime
really
game.
soon. and with that being said, again, that is all we have to show for you today on Just From Us. So thank you so much. First of all, to Capcom for allowing us to show this really awesome demo. Thank you to Sam and to Ethan. It's great being with you guys once again.
Seriously.
It's
I
so
enjoyed
nice to see you in person,
Yeah.
dude.
It's so great. And also to you out there watching, thank you for sticking around. You could have been anywhere in the world, but